Thousands of migrants in Mexico are still desperately trying to enter the U.S. despite the president-elect's promise of harsher policies.
We will reinstate my Remain in Mexico policy.
Shocking raw footage has surfaced showing U.S. Marines ramping up security along the Mexican border, following President Trump's bold move to deploy 10,000 troops. The video captures soldiers installing barbed wire and fortifying walls in Tijuana's La Libertad neighborhood, sparking intense debates over border control. Meanwhile, Mexico's National Guard is stepping in with checkpoints and patrols, fulfilling a major immigration deal. This dramatic scene highlights the escalating efforts to tackle illegal crossings and enforce stricter border measures. Barbed wire installation.
The Marines are installing long sideways posts against the wall along with a lot of barbed wire. The troops who are sent there are part of an initial wave of military personnel.
It's been said you can't put a price on border security. Border security is national security. And when we talk about the deployment of the military on the border, look, this is great readiness training for the military and practices readiness. You look at the border, there's not a better environment than the border to utilize drones. You can train military personnel to flights to deport people to Guantanamo Bay or other countries. It just makes sense. It really does.
You know, according to leaked Customs and Border Protection data obtained by the New York Post, I want to get your take on this. Border crossings have hit record lows during this crackdown, with an average of more than 350 migrants being caught at the border daily. And that's a reported 90% decrease from this time last year. So when we're crunching numbers, is this what you're seeing in your county? Does that compare?
Well, we certainly are, Laura, and I thought we'd actually start seeing a little bit more activity just due to the amount of military personnel employed on the border on our side and then on the Mexico side as well. My county is very remote, very rugged, and we don't have an urban environment. So I thought that would squeeze some activity this way. It hasn't yet. But with that being said, look, we are seeing record lows. We went from one extreme, record highs to now record lows, and it hadn't taken much. What it took was a strong leader in the White House, President Trump, letting the rest of the world know that you're not going to cross our borders illegally, and if you are, then there's going to be a consequence.
Now, News Nation is learning that Border Patrol agents will stop using body cameras out in the field immediately. So this is kind of a shock for a lot of people, right? Are there any concerns about lack of transparency or accountability? Because those body cameras are so important.
And Laura, they really are. And we often say that, that they protect us more than they hurt us, meaning, then allegation comes in of something, then they exonerate the agent. But it's not for those reasons that it's being discontinued at this time. As I understand that there was a flaw in the system or the storage or data, so they're looking to see what they can do to make it more safe and secure and then possibly go back to using them. But again, it's not a complete bad thing. Either wearing them or not wearing them. We'll see what ends up coming, but like I said, it often exonerates the agents if there is some sort of allegation against the Border Patrol agent.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, just the fact that to think of them coming off of the bodies of border agents is concerning for a lot of people, but we'll see how it goes. Thank you for putting that.
Pasaporte en la mano. Ya, eso lo sé.
And the person inside was trying to take it into Mexico.
¿Dónde eres, mano? ¿Dónde vives? Matamoros, que no es por acá.
This man here in handcuffs is a U.S. citizen suspected of trying to ram his way through barriers. He was busted by Mexican authorities moments later. The two border teams congratulating each other on a job well done.
We've already verified that the vehicle is stolen, and he is a U.S. citizen. We have documents. So now we're going to take him inside. We're going to look at his rap sheet, if he's got one. We'll fingerprint them, making sure into our databases that there's no warrants or anything of that nature, and then we'll take it from there.
Beyond stopping potential criminals, this port alone scans more than 700,000 trucks of cargo every year, worth more than $50 billion.
This video sent out by the White House Friday morning shows United States Marines on Otay Mountain along the border. It shows aircraft flying above a Marine camp on the ground. But when Border Report went up there to document the Marines and their movements, they were gone. The only Marines we found were at the Imperial Beach Border Patrol Station. They arrived here Friday morning around 9 o'clock. From here, they could easily see the border less than a mile away. They were moving equipment around and getting ready for their assignments. Later in the afternoon, we found they had laid out concertina wire. Without official figures, we could see about 200 Marines lined up. We have been told 500 active duty Marines and sailors will be deployed to the San Diego area in support of Border Patrol agents. This is part of an initial wave of military personnel being sent to the southern border. These Marines are based out of Camp Pendleton, about 60 miles north of the border. We contacted the Marine Corps, hoping to get more information about their mission in San Diego, but they refused to comment.
Border walls have existed throughout history, from the Great Wall of China to modern fences at various international boundaries. They typically serve as physical barriers intended to keep people and goods from moving freely across borders. Many walls are built for security reasons, often to reduce illegal migration or smuggling. These structures can be made of concrete, steel, or other tough materials, making them highly resistant to damage or forced entry. One key detail about a border wall is its height, which can sometimes reach over 30 feet. This height makes it harder for people to climb over. Another important feature is how deep the wall's foundation goes underground. Strong foundations are meant to discourage tunneling. In some cases, additional measures like sensors, cameras, and bright floodlights add layers of security, giving authorities enough time to respond quickly to any breach. Materials and structure vary from simple chain-link fences to reinforced steel beams. Some walls have slats that allow limited visibility between the two sides.
We learned very quickly with this to get very close to it. Because they couldn't see us, they would lob rocks over, it would miss.
This design helps patrol officers spot suspicious activity while still creating a strong barrier. Also, environmental factors matter. Heavy rain or shifting ground can create weak spots along the wall, requiring regular checks and repairs. Proper drainage systems and sturdy foundations help extend a wall's lifespan.
Now President Trump testing the limits of his power, working to deliver on campaign promises to crack down on immigration, issuing orders at breakneck speed in just his first few weeks back in office.
We have the strongest border we've had in many years since my term.
Some of those executive orders more successful than others, from birthright citizenship to refugee status. Deportations are ramping up even as border crossings are down. The administration going so far as to use Guantanamo Bay to house the influx of arrested migrants.
They're doing an unbelievable job and taking out massive numbers of people.
The president's quick actions applauded by many. A recent poll found more than 80% of Americans support deporting undocumented migrants who've been convicted of a crime. But they oppose sending back people who are not criminals.
This time, the agents weren't quick enough. Several individuals were spotted on the Mexican side. All they recovered was the vehicle.
Usually all the back seats are taken out. This particular vehicle, you can see all the wires are pulled out. There's no key. Chances are it's going to be stolen.
It's a game of cat and mouse, and both sides are always adapting to the other's tactics.
Inside, the criminals and smugglers will fly a drone to see where law enforcement's at. Then once they feel it's clear, they'll bring people across the river. Then we saw this white truck, Border Patrol was behind it, then we got behind it, and then it turned into a chase. The driver was able to jump back into the river, and there was already a raft waiting for him in the river and took him back to Mexico. And this is usually what they use. This individual left his radio behind, So they're constantly communicating with people in Mexico while they're being chased. That way they can try to find a way to evade capture, which in this case, the driver was able to. There was nobody in the truck. And then we looked across the river, there's probably about 10 more people that were looking to cross over the river, but we were able to stop that, which is a good thing.
The joint anti-smuggling operation uses the resources and officers of both vests.
And the focus of this operation is to go after the smuggling guides that are bringing people across the river illegally from Mexico. We want to focus on those guides and be able to arrest them for human smuggling and file state charges on them. So it's been a very effective operation. We have made well over 100 arrests over the course of the last year since we started this operation, and that's specifically targeting smuggling guides.
One of the most, actually the most dangerous place in the world. I mean, everybody here has so much anger within themselves because life's just not going the way we want it to. It's rough, man. It's about survival.
All illegal entry will immediately be halted and
1050, that back key was loaded of UVA.
10-4 got like 20.
Please.
Mexico setting up the first of 9 migrant centers.
News Nation cameras captured buses of Mexican nationals deported back to Reynosa, Mexico.
Trunk of a car.
Algo, por Dios. Véngase.
Texas officials charged the driver and front seat passenger with 6 counts of human smuggling, DPS said. These migrants, apprehended last week by Olivares and his officers, show signs of being part of a larger trafficking operation.
Some of them are wearing wristbands, colored wristbands, and those are designated by the cartels in Mexico. They put those wristbands on these individuals before they come across the river, and that is to signify how much they pay, what cartel essentially owns them because they are a commodity, and they come across the river and then they're told to discard those wristbands at the river.